Bay here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman as we talk to Shane Bauer, the undercover investigative journalist who served 4 months as a prison guard in a for-profit prison in Louisiana run by CCA, the Corrections Corporation of America. During Bauer's time as a guard at the Wynn Correctional Facility, there was an escape of a prisoner. In this clip, Shane talks about the incident and speaks with former Wynn prison guards David Backel and Jennifer Callahan.
Today was my 12th day of training, and I found out as soon as I got to the prison that yesterday there was an escape.
He was out there on a small yard on the what we call the basketball side, where you can, play basketball.
He was able to climb over the fence.
He went up the fence, got on the roof of the building, the double chain link fence, 12, 15 foot high, something like that. Climbed up it, got over both razor wires.
Ran through the forest, stole Hunter's truck.
Got on the road, got stopped at a roadblock because of his nervousness, gave himself away, got busted.
The prison staff didn't actually know that he escaped for 2-3 hours.
Not enough people for security.
There are 4 or 5 guard towers around the prison, and around 4 years ago, the company decided to replace the guards in those towers with cameras. If there had been guards in those towers, they would have almost certainly seen somebody trying to jump the fence.
No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Shane Bauer, talk more about this and what happens with escapes.
Well, when I was working at Wynn, I would come in every morning at 6 o'clock and go to a morning meeting where all security staff that was showing up for the shift would show up at this meeting. And there were days that there were 24 guards. Some days there might have been 28. This is for 1,500 inmates. This is far below the number of guards that CCA is required to have by its contract. This person in the middle of the day was able to climb over a fence without anybody seeing him. It was hours before they even knew that he was gone. When the perimeter alarm went off in the control room, the person who is watching the cameras just turned the alarm off and went back to what she was doing. This goes back to some of the issues with training. I went through 4 weeks of training there. Some days we literally sat there all day long doing nothing. Many days we would get 2 hours where somebody would be standing in front of us reading company policy. I felt very ill-prepared to really go into this job when I started.
Shane, while you were at Wynn, tensions grew high at the facility. In this Mother Jones video, it goes inside during the turmoil.
The prison has been on lockdown for about a week. CCA has sent in SORT teams from its prisons around the country to try to bring Wynn under control.
SORT team is like a wrecking crew. They dress them all in black. They normally whoop ass first and take names later.
They're basically going throughout the entire prison very thoroughly and methodically.
Tear the mattresses up, tear the vents up, whatever they need to do to find any contraband.
Strip searching inmates, searching toilets, searching their lockers. People are getting angry. They're lashing out. I thought that there was going to be a riot in the unit that I work in.
If we want to act like refugees and animals, then we can do.
We're not acting like it. That's how we being treated.
Listen to what I say.
That's how we being treated. We ain't got nothing.
They were supposed to get canteen today, which they haven't had for 3 weeks. They just kind of start freaking out. No, they said no COs are going to come on the tier. We're not doing count. We're not cooperating. We're going to riot.
This is the incompetence that's causing these problems. The inability to be able to run this place in a professional manner. The people here are so lazy from where they go, and their solution to the problem is lock everybody down. Come on, man, you need a brainiac, somebody that could think, somebody that could come in here with finesse and run the prison and deal with these problems.
So, Shane Bauer, talk about what ultimately happened.
Well, there had been a lot. While I was there was more and more stabbings. There, were weeks that there were multiple stabbings happening, and I saw people stab each other in front of me. And when I was in training, we were told that when we see two inmates stabbing each other, our job is just to tell them to stop and radio for backup. We're not meant to intervene. Our trainer told us that it's not worth it. We don't make enough money to put ourselves in that situation, and that what's important is that we go home at the end of the day. He actually said to us, if these fools want to cut each other up, happy cutting. The prison was really dangerous. After these tactical teams, the SORT teams came in, they swept through the prison and were searching for contraband and weapons. They found in the first 2 months of the year 200 weapons at Wynn. That's more than 20 times more than Angola, the maximum security prison in Louisiana. This violence, the escape, a lot of the incidents that were happening at Wynn drew the attention of the State Department of Corrections, so they also eventually took over. So at one point, the prison was being run by corporate tactical teams and guards from around the state, as well as the local staff.
Shane, Democracy Now! Reached out to the Corrections Corporation of America for response to your article. CCA Director of Public Affairs Jonathan Burns issued a statement. It reads in part, quote, "This story, how it was developed and what ultimately was published, says more about the reporter's activist agenda and the publication's low journalistic standards than it does about our company or the very real challenges facing our criminal justice system in America. From the start, Mother Jones clearly intended to publish a deliberate hit piece to advance a predetermined premise at the expense of numerous laws, widely accepted journalistic standards, a fully informed readership, and even the safety and security of a correctional facility. This point is underscored by the numerous examples in the piece in which the reporter clearly admits failing to perform the security duties of his job, which were intended to keep inmates and his colleagues safe." Again, those are the words of the Director of Public Affairs for the Corrections Corporation of America, Jonathan Burns. Your response, Shane Bauer.
When I started at Wynn, my job was to work as a prison guard. I was pointed out for promotion within just a few months. But right before I left, I was offered promotion. And the culture at Wynn was one of where guards did not do security checks. There were guards that were recording that security checks were happening every half hour, which is what was required. So that meant that guards were required to walk through the units, to walk through the dorms, and just check up on everybody. That didn't happen. There wasn't enough staff for that to happen. When I went to Wynn, I noted and documented in detail what I saw. And while I was at Wynn, one guard that I worked with actually said to me, I wish that an investigative reporter would come to and investigate this prison. There was widespread frustration, not just with inmates, but also with staff on how the company was running the prison. And the things that I saw were long-standing. I mean, these were not issues that started when I arrived there.
Shane, the video you have from inside, explain how you got it.
Well, my lawyer would not be happy with me if I talked in detail about where that video comes from. I, have to protect Mother Jones and our sources from retaliation, but I will say that it was very important to me, given the stakes of this investigation, to document very accurately what was happening there and what I was seeing and hearing people say.
Mm-hmm. And you even write about a pen that you used that you put in your shirt that was an audio recorder.
I did have recording devices while I was working there.
Shane, your undercover investigation in Wynn Correctional Facility ended suddenly when your colleague James West was arrested filming outside the prison. This is footage of the arrest.
His name's going to be James West.
What kind of pictures you got there?
They're my pictures.
What you took here don't belong to you. You got it on the SD card?
Uh-huh.
Let's have it.
No, sir, I'm not going to show you that.
I will take everything you got. Whoa, come here.
Hey, you can't take my camera.
I'm going to tell you one time to hand me the camera.
You hand me that.
I think the best thing to do is to seize this camera, and we'll get a search warrant, and we'll look at them pictures.
If you don't want to give it to me, I will take it.
What am I being arrested for?
Trespass. You want to go ahead and turn and put your hands behind your back.
I'm cooperating.
No, you're not.
No, you ain't. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Welcome to the free state of Wynn.
Shane, this brought your investigation to an end. Explain what happened.
I, went home that night to get some sleep because I had to work the next morning at the prison, and found out in the middle of the night that James had been arrested. He spent 24 hours in jail, and when he was released, we basically packed up my apartment and headed straight to Texas. I called in and resigned, and the head of HR said, she said that she was surprised to hear that I was quitting because she thought that I was going to promote, and it shortly
To be promoted, you were going to be promoted?
Right.
Shane, we only have a minute, and I just wanted to ask if you could talk about how you yourself were affected by being a guard, from being a prisoner in Iran to being a guard here, and your changing mentality.
That the psychological aspect of working there ended up taking most of my energy. I went in there as a reporter, and over time, more and more of my attention was focused on the job of being a guard, which was extremely difficult. I was working in a unit with 350 prisoners with just one other floor officer, and I saw myself over time harden and become more and more strict, and really just numb to the needs of the prisoners. I was focused on how to get through and how to survive in this really dangerous environment.
Well, Shane, I want to thank you for being with us. We'll link to the whole issue of Mother Jones Magazine and the amazing reports, video reports from James West. Shane Bauer, award-winning senior reporter at Mother Jones. His most recent article is titled "My 4 Months as a Private Prison Guard," chronicling his time as an undercover correctional officer at Louisiana's Wynn Correctional Center, run by the Corrections Corporation of America. Shane is also co-author of the memoir, A Sliver of Light, 3 Americans Imprisoned in Iran. And that does it for our show. Happy birthday to John Randolph. Democracy Now! Has a news producer and a senior video news producer position open. Check it out at democracynow.org. I'll be speaking in Chicago on Friday night. Go to our website at democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us.